Good morning. It's Eric. I'm here with Aaron from YC. Aaron, do you mind giving us a little bit of an introduction to yourself?
Sure. Hey, so I'm Aaron Epstein. I actually went through YC in winter 2010, so 10 years ago at this point. I was co-founder of a company called Creative Market. It's a marketplace for graphic design assets where people, designers all around the world who create fonts and Photoshop files and stock photos and website themes, they come, they sell them on the platform, and it's a great way to get really great design work. So now I am back at YC as a visiting partner and excited to help all of you startup school founders get some feedback on your designs and put together some really great work.
So here's how we're going to do this. We've actually got 2 hours of Aaron's time, which is amazing. We're going to dive right in a few seconds. We're going to go full screen, so you'll be able to see what we're seeing. And we will go through a pretty long list of startups and review their websites. So we're going to start with the first company called SEO Buddy. And we're coming at this from complete zero, so it's as if we're seeing it for the first time.
It's like usertesting.com, if you've ever used that before.
User testing, but with YC partners. Okay, SEO Buddy. Grow your search traffic and outrank your competitors with just 20 minutes of work per day. 20 minutes work per day.
Yeah, so that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're trying to make it seem like it's not a lot of work, but when you're like, 20 minutes of work, like, that sounds hard.
Yeah, that was my first reaction as well. I think you're trying to like target to the specific customer a little bit too early in the cycle. Like, I get what you're doing. You're visualizing the person who's already experienced the pain of having to manage SEO and search engine optimization themselves. But it might be just a bit too early.
Yeah, so the sub-headline is kind of a light gray on white background. Instead of getting lost in endless reports and spreadsheets, SEO Buddy turns the daunting world of SEO into easy-to-complete daily missions. So I'm not sure what daily missions are. Okay, so this is for growing my search traffic and outranking competitors, but I'm not exactly sure how and why. I think it's good that you have like, hey, there's a free trial, there's a very clear call to action, you've got the 2 orange buttons, the color stands out, grabs my attention. You've got the fire emoji, 111 companies signed up in the last month. That's good for showing social proof and helping build trust with people. I think there's some stat where Airbnb and like Booking.com and all those sites, when they put things like 95% of people, did this action, or there's only 2 left at this price. I think that significantly increases conversion rates. So I think that
why now?
Yeah, that's like good social proof to create urgency and let people know that this is something a lot of people are using.
My thought here is that it's the gray subtext is just hard to really sink into, and because you've got such a long header right here, that this could be a bit shorter. I think you could probably drop this like second part here. And maybe bump this up to make it a little bit larger and easier to read. Let's keep going. You got some social proof here. Doesn't truly land with me. I can't tell whether these are news clippings or companies.
Yeah, and I've never heard of any of those. I assume they're companies.
Yeah.
So it lets me know like you have customers, but not ones that I would trust. They could just be your friends' companies or past companies you've even created.
One thing some startup school companies have been doing is putting their startup school affiliation in the on the main page. SEO is in rocket science, but it's not easy to be successful. Too many negatives here. Like, you could flip the sentence around to say like, SEO is difficult, we make it easy. Or like ending on a positive note here.
Yeah, I feel like this whole section also is probably telling your target audience something they already know, which is like SEO is hard. But still, we're like halfway down the page right now, and I'm not sure what's different about what SEO Buddy can do versus any other tool that's out there. I feel like this is like a pretty crowded, competitive space.
Yeah.
And the main thing that I'm looking for is like, what is SEO Buddy and how is it better or different than any other tool that can help increase your search engine rankings?
So one way you could consider doing this is presenting like what the world was before SEO Buddy and then what the world is with SEO Buddy. Like you're kind of getting into it here, right at the top, that like this is shorter than, it takes less time than the alternative. So maybe what you could do is frame it as like, here's what you're probably already doing today. We turned it into this process that's much shorter.
Yep. Okay, so now we're actually getting into what SEO Buddy really is. It's an all-in-one SEO productivity tool, helps you grow your search traffic, outsmart your competitors, and take control of your entire SEO strategy. So you've got backlink monitoring, competitor research, content manager, and outreach tool. We've got some screenshots here. Okay, a feature's coming soon. But this is now I'm starting to understand like what your product actually is and does and why I should use it. So I would recommend taking this and putting this like much higher on
Bumping
the page.
it up, yeah. Okay. It's still a little bit crowded, like in terms of trying to understand exactly what yours does.
Yeah.
There's just a lot on screen.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I think probably what you're trying to do is you have a full-featured product and you're trying to communicate everything that you can do. But really, it's usually better if you can be a lot more focused and focus on what are the top 1 to 3 features that are the main reasons somebody would use this, and just be really crisp and clear about those and the benefits that they provide. Like that's another thing, like don't sell features to people. You're saying track backlinks and keyword performance. Like that's a feature that you do. What's the benefit that somebody gets as a result of that? Maybe it's like they can rank higher, they can figure out what's working and what's not in their ad campaigns, like lots of different things that you can do. But frame it as like the superpowers that you give people rather than the specific literal feature that you provide.
Okay, anything to wrap up on this one before we move on to the next?
No, I mean, in general, I think it's pretty strong. Like, it's straightforward. You have the talk to me thing if somebody needs help at the bottom.
Hitting into intercom.
Hey, my name is Romain. I am the
interesting.
founder of SEO Buddy.
There you
The
go.
reason I really started SEO Buddy was to stay organized in my SEO journey. SEO Buddy creates sustainable tasks automatically tailored to your business that your team can accomplish in short sprints of 20 minutes or less. The goal is to find the most relevant backlink opportunities to boost the authority of your domain and also to discover the best content ideas to produce for your keyword.
Interesting. I hadn't actually seen something like that before. Have you, like, maybe you could experiment with this auto popping up on, now you probably wouldn't want to roll the audio, but like having that pop up would be a worthwhile experiment.
Yeah, okay, so now we're further at the bottom, and so you're starting to humanize it a little bit more. I see who's behind this thing. Makes me want to support you if I know your story, so I think that's good.
I like it.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
good stuff here.
Thanks.
Nice work.
Next up, Computus. You want to drive?
Sure. Okay, right off the bat, Computus, the world's best crypto tax tools. Okay, so I assume this is for people that are have a lot of crypto and they need to file taxes on it. And then you say, find out what we mean, and you should just tell me what you mean, rather than making me click another link to find out what you mean.
I think it opens an email link.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's weird, so I'm not sure why that's happening. There's not much going on here, so I don't really know what to make of this. There's no
Missing
images.
an image.
Yeah.
Definitely needs something to draw my attention to like the top.
Generate tax documents, monitor expected tax obligations, and make sense of crypto investments. Okay, so I can generate tax documents. That means something to me. I can figure out what I have to pay taxes on, and I'm not sure what making sense of crypto investments is. Maybe you could be more specific with that. Okay, now we get into the services.
Just a note about design, like oftentimes I love to copy websites that I really enjoy or really like using. This seems like you copied kind of a bootstrap template or something, but then kind of missed out on like what's tying the page together.
Yeah, this seems super bare bones, almost to the point where it doesn't build trust and credibility with me. And especially if we're dealing with something like you're talking about tax advice and portfolio. Like that sounds like serious, where it's going to cost me a lot of money if it gets messed up.
Yeah.
So building trust and confidence is really important here. So the first one that we just looked at, they had a bunch of logos where even if I hadn't heard of them, it's like, all right, people are using this. They talked, this little fire icon, 111 people had used this recently. You saw the face of the person that was behind it and heard his story.
I'm guessing this is probably like a landing page just to collect interest. So rather than like a live service, considering that you're mostly trying to funnel me towards like a consultation, and which is cool. You're trying to like gather interest from users. But in order to get people to trust you enough to share their crypto kind of story, I think you're definitely going to need to, like, how would you recommend positioning this as like a website where the founder could like gather feedback versus launch their product?
Well, first of all, I would just, you talked about copying some other site. Like first, you just need to hit a certain bar of like trust and credibility for anybody to give any type of feedback or put in their information. Even things like having a logo rather than just typing the name of your company just makes you look more legitimate. If you have any like images of the product or something like that, that makes me think there's like a real thing here. So I would start there to build the trust and credibility. Then I would figure out what's the main goal that you have on this page. The action is like way down the page, and what do you want us to do? Do you want us to learn more? And open this PDF?
Yeah.
Like this should all be on your website, and you should be driving people to one goal, which it's probably not learn more because that should be in the page. It should probably be like schedule a consultation or put in your email, and that should be the thing that's all the way in the top at the header.
So I talk to founders pretty often that are in this kind of trap where they want to talk to users, but they need a website in order to seem credible.
Yep.
I think this might be an example of where it actually is negatively impacting your credibility. Like if I were to have a friend, if you were to get a warm introduction to me through a friend and actually do user research that way, that might even be more powerful than sending someone to a website like this.
Yep. Or, just go fire up like a Webflow template or something like that is a really good way to just get this base level of professionalism that people would trust. And you can do it super quickly. You don't have to be a designer. They got all kinds of templates and stuff. It's really easy to just knock something like this out.
That would be worthwhile. Okay, let's move on to the next one. cepsa, a mobile app for creative people fond of arts and crafts. Discover trends, discover local events, introduce your point of view, and share your feelings. Meet your soulmate in cepsa. Okay, I think you buried the lead here. It sounds like this might be a dating app.
Is it? I'm not sure.
I mean...
Okay, let's go to the next section.
Yeah.
It's possible to join a mob or create one to stop the world from being regular. Okay, so this is like an example of you are using a lot of vague words and terms that don't really mean things to people. It's hard to visualize what this product actually is. And then even the imagery doesn't help. Like you're showing people. And so I was kind of with Eric, like, is this a dating app or something?
Oh, it's a mutual friend between you and yet unknown, but already truly your folks. Okay, might also be some English language.
So is this for meeting offline? Okay, so find local experts, popular and private, get opinions and reviews from celebrities, and find like-minded people. Yeah, so I'm unclear, is like this an app to meet new people in person that you share similar interests with? Or is this a community to engage around art? And then I'm not sure where the celebrities part comes from.
Yeah.
So we're very confused.
We're overall confused. Let's check out the YouTube or the Google link here. Hangouts app. Okay, you got some users. That's pretty good. And it's in Russian. Okay, I think we might not be fully qualified to review a Russian app at this moment. How's your Russian?
Not good.
Okay, overall, like the design, the content that's inside the design does not really do it for us.
Yeah, so maybe some actionable feedback we could give here. Take the screenshots that are further at the bottom and maybe pull those up higher. At least if I can look at something tangible, I have a better chance of figuring out what it actually is.
Oh, the app screenshots, yeah.
Yeah. Are those in Russian? Yeah, those are in Russian too. So like right off the bat, if the app is in Russian, even if you have an English language website, it just makes me think this is not for me.
Yeah. Which is fair. It might.
Yeah,
might
maybe
not
it
actually
literally isn't. Yeah. In which case, maybe you don't need an English language website.
Yeah, that would be fair. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Narration box. It's good.com. Cool. State-of-the-art audio and speech synthesis, powered by AI and machine learning. Let's take a listen.
Yeah.
Manfred's on the road again, making strangers rich. It's a hot summer Tuesday.
That's
And he's
Accelerando.
standing
It's
in
a
the
great
plaza
book.
in front of the Central station with his eyeballs powered up and the sunlight jangling off the canal. Motors, scooters, and kamikaze cyclists whizzing past and tourists chattering on
Okay, so
every side. The square smells of water and dirt and hot metal
So
in
the-
the fart lake.
I get what you're doing. Like the actual one-liner is excellent. Like state-of-the-art audio and speech synthesis. The problem is the demo that you show doesn't sound like state-of-the-art. Like there's just like compared to like Alexa or Google Assistant,
Yeah.
it just sounds
Fumes of cold catalytic converters.
a little
The
bit
bells of
off.
Sounds like a robot.
Yeah.
The other thing is I'm not clear what this is for. It's state-of-the-art audio and speech synthesis, but is there like an API? Can I integrate this in my app? Like,
Yeah,
can I
we've got
talk
person-
to it? Like, what is this for? What are the use cases or the things that I want to know? So yeah, my first question was just like, is it good? So it's great that you have the preview up there, but then we listen, we're like, this doesn't seem as good as some of the other things
Let's
that
hear
we've
the
heard.
next
The
demo.
day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's just on the low
Yeah.
end.
Once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. And Apple had
So cost effective, that's for sure. Compared to a
A
real
lot of different
person.
voices.
20 languages. Okay, it sounds like so. I guess
Okay, so now we're into an intuitive editor, and here's some use cases further down the page.
let's take a quick. So it looks like you could feed in audio files like a podcast and get the entire like translation or the entire voice. Oh no, it's the other way around. You're doing voice to text, right? Design your speech and audio. Oh, cool. So you could like emphasize certain words. That's interesting. I mean, from some casual playing around with the Google APIs, I don't know if that's something that they offer. That's unique.
Yeah, what are the use cases here? Okay, character voices, apps.
PA, okay.
So is this like an SDK? Like, it seems like this is for developers, but it seems like there's not a lot of information about how developers can actually start using this.
Yeah.
众猴听得个个欢喜。
So you got a lot of languages. So I guess what I'm struggling with is to understand how this is different. Like there are many speech-to-text APIs available. In fact, like iOS and Android include them by default. I think it would be useful to call attention to what's special about Narration Box and what advantages you have over the competition.
Yeah. Yep. And then your pricing, I don't think I saw any actual.
Yeah, there's
Oh, there it is.
It's-
Okay,
it's
yeah.
very hard to read.
Yeah, so you might want to call that out a little bit more. So start now and contact sales. I'm not really sure the difference between those. So
Again, like to your point before, you didn't know who was supposed to start. Like there's no
Yeah.
targeting of like this is an SDK. This is for app developers or this
right,
is for.
and why do I need to contact sales too? Like, if I'm a developer and I want to use this, I want to just download the SDK and start testing it, or I want some web interface
Yeah.
where I can start typing out text and actually hearing it live.
I mean, to go back to some like fantastic examples, Stripe. I don't know if they still have it, but always for like the early part of their time, they just had like how you could actually get started with the SDK.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
literally on. Well, no,
It's funny, go back.
Yeah.
Start now, contact sales. So I think they're probably modeling this after Stripe.
Oh, here we
which
go.
is
Okay, so
interesting.
they've still got a little bit of their SDK stuff on the front page.
Yeah. So model the developer stuff
Yeah.
after Stripe 2.
You missed that component. The iconography images, what do you think?
I mean, so it makes it seem friendly, but it doesn't actually communicate anything about the product to me. it doesn't reinforce like messages that you want to give. So like it's not bad, but it's not actually helpful.
Yeah. So it's not a negative, but
Yeah.
not adding as
It
much
doesn't
as
move the
could.
needle.
Yeah. I do like this seems like a very unique thing, being able to
Yeah.
try out different voices and different
agree.
languages. Like I think you've got some cool stuff here. I would like highlight maybe, well, basically you need to talk to your users and see what they're reacting to or what they're,
Yep.
attracted to. But that sounds like one.
Yeah, it seems like pulling that up and some of the use cases up to the top.
Maybe the
to figure
editor
out-
part?
Yep, the editor's cool. That stood
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And then I'll get rid of like the powered by AI and machine learning. Like people don't want AI and machine learning. They want the benefit that gives, which is we can, auto speak any sentence you type or something
In 20
like that.
different languages.
Yeah. Like that sounds.
Without
I
having to
love it.
change the API.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome.
Narration box. Okay, we've got decoecho. Welcome to the wonderful world of upcycling. I've heard of upcycling.
I have not, so I do not know what this is. What would you like to do today? Learn about upcycling, I guess.
Okay, let's see if we learn. How does it work? Find out how to turn waste into profit by giving the highest value jump from zero to market-ready product.
Okay, what does that mean?
Okay, so like I thought I knew what upcycling was.
And now you're more confused.
Now I'm more confused. I think sounds like it's for people who want to recycle things and then sell them.
Okay, so
Tell us what materials you want to upcycle, find the best designer for your project, agree on a timeline and a price, provide your waste, get awesome upcycled products, sell them via our marketplace.
okay.
Shop with us, hundreds of upcycled products.
So do I create it or I just send you my recycle bin and then somebody creates it?
So I think this is falling into one error mode, which is we don't know who the website is for or who the company is for. Oftentimes, like founders will tell me that their product is for everybody, like everyone can benefit from this. But the counterintuitive learning here is that you actually can benefit a lot from focusing in on who will get the most benefit now. That saves you time. Like basically, it's a way to make sure that the people who can benefit the most from it immediately understand what your product is. So I think now, having like looked at it, I'll take a stab at it. Like I think it's for companies that have a lot of recycling in a specific format, like watches or that kind of thing, or bottles. They can send it to artists. Artists will upcycle them, and then you can make money if they get sold, maybe.
Okay. So the examples are cool. These start to resonate with me. Like, all right, this looks like recycled material in new products. Okay. So now
you got T-Mobile. Okay, so like
McDonald's was in there.
That's a major label. If that's true, one of the ways that you can actually maybe structure this is like walk me through an entire example with one of your customers. Say like T-Mobile came to us or McDonald's came to us with this waste, and we worked with it. We introduced them to an artist. With the artist, they were able to make it into this product, and then they sold this product on our website.
Yep. I think the biggest thing we're missing is like the why and for who.
Yeah.
And so is this a marketplace of this stuff? Is your goal to, okay, so here's some case studies. Yeah, you've got big names on here. And I want to figure out like what they did. So this is a charity auction.
So
it feels like there's some kind of like non-profit-y something angle to all of this that I can't quite figure out.
Yeah. Which is not bad. I'm not turned off by that. But,
yeah.
So this is really cool. Like, I think I see what you're doing. You're like recycling T-Mobile marketing material. Like, oh, these are like the signs that they have on like billboards or something like that.
And turn into bags.
And turn into bags, yeah. So like the interesting part is you've got a lot of content here. Like you've clearly put a lot of time into taking great photos, like building a lot of assets, but the organization just isn't there.
It's worth noting also, like you have a lot of like big blocks of text written in here, right? And notice how we're going through the site trying to figure out what it is.
And not reading.
Yeah, we're looking at pictures, we're looking at headlines, we're like, oh,
Logos.
T-Mobile, yeah. Oh, okay, we're trying to figure out from here. You probably say it, like literally what you're doing in one of these paragraphs here, and we're just not taking the time to read it. And that's honestly what people coming to your site are gonna do too. So you really got to call out the important bits of like how it works. And I think the thing that you have on the homepage, where it's like the step 1 through step 5, it doesn't clearly communicate what it is.
No, and you can, and one of the ways that you could take this concept is to apply like the T-Mobile, like how T-Mobile worked with you, and just like walk us through with like specific examples of how you worked with T-Mobile to do something.
It would totally legitimize you too.
You got a section here, like I guess there's brands that come to you with stuff that needs to be recycled, and then designers. How could they like divide their site better to?
I guess it depends. Like, what's the goal? Are you trying to sell products that have been like? I'm going to take a stab at this. I'm not 100% sure if this is how it works. But are you basically you partner with like a T-Mobile or McDonald's, you get the source materials from them because they have a lot of like bulk recycling that they want to do. You take those, you match it with a designer. The designer takes those materials, they create something, and then you have a shop button, so maybe I can then, like, customers can then come buy the recycled materials from here. And if that's how it works, then it seems to me the thing that makes this a business is not actually anything about partnering with T-Mobile. I assume you just get it for free because they were going to recycle it anyway.
And they get some brand value of...
Yeah. And so it's actually like in the selling the new products is really what you have. You have like a marketplace for selling upcycled or like, okay, so recycled but turned into products, materials that seem like these all look really cool. And I think if these were on the homepage, I would want to just dive right into like you are an e-commerce or marketplace or something.
It's true. Like most of the people who will be visiting your site are not brands. They're people who are going to like want to buy really cool.
Yeah, so I want to buy this first and foremost because it looks cool, but then I find out there's a story behind it and it's all recycled and it came from these big brands and it turned into this really cool, pendant lamp. Like that makes me value it even more. So I would start on the whole marketplace thing, selling those products, and then tell the story in the context of those products.
Just a small note, it looks like you're using some sort of e-commerce platform that's not Shopify, or maybe it is. One of the reasons why I love Kickstarter and Shopify on these sites is like we kind of know them. Like we've all shopped at sites before that use this similar hierarchy. Anytime we're at somewhere that's different, it's like I have to think more about how I use this site.
Yeah.
So like when in doubt, like it's sometimes always better just to use like an existing.
Yeah. Users have mental models of like how an e-commerce site should work or how a checkout process should work that's based on their past experiences. And
like this guest button is really small.
Yeah.
And then I have to like enter an email to sign out as guests. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so try to map to what people are already used to doing, and that way your product will feel familiar to them and they won't have to relearn a whole new set of experiences.
Yeah. Cool. So breezy. No, just breezy. Quickly help you find the best and most affordable insurance for your pets.
Okay, that's pretty clear.
Yeah. Got that.
But then you want me to subscribe. Like, what am I subscribing to? I would expect that to be like put in information about your pet and we will give you quotes, or like get a quote or something like that.
Sign up for updates. Okay, so it's an unlaunched landing page. We're just trying to collect interest. Oh, here we go. Okay, pet insurance calculator. Now, I'm guessing you mean health insurance. I don't know too much about pet insurance, but
yeah, I assume it's health insurance too. That's a good point. Like you should probably say.
I would clarify that.
So I unfortunately have experience with this, which is my dog dislocating her leg jumping out of our car window. And that was not a great experience and cost way too much money.
Wow.
And it would have been really nice to have some pet insurance at that time. So I can definitely see the value in this.
So is this a calculator? So I don't know what this is calculating. Is this like after you've had an accident or after the pet has had an accident? Yes, it is. Look, it's like you type in what the vet bill would be. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is kind of for like your situation, like you know what you ended up paying.
Yep.
And this would have been, too many options here.
Yeah.
I think like, again, it would be helpful if you said like, here's the scenario. Like you could give an example of someone that you've already helped, saying like, this person came to us, their pet had this accident, we had covered them already, this is how much they paid, and you can kind of walk through like a specific example.
Yeah. I think one of the problems here too is you're mapping the options to literally how insurance works. So there's a deductible, there's reimbursement, there's an annual reimbursement limit, and then you're kind of spitting out, how much somebody will pay. But that's not actually how your users and customers think of insurance. I want to know, my dog just dislocated her leg, it's going to cost $3,000 for the surgery to fix it. How much of that am I going to have to pay on each of these plans?
Yeah.
And so I think if you can frame it in the mindset of how users are going to think about it, like I don't know what reimbursement is, I don't know what the limit is, deductibles are confusing, try to simplify it for people.
There's not too much else on this page. I think you're missing just some common, like you went to all this effort of building the page. I would just take it across like that finish line by adding the lower, what do you call them, footer bars.
Yep.
Just to provide that like semblance of realness.
Yep.
Like people have a mental model for what a web page looks like, and this is missing some key components of that.
Yeah, and like an about page or even just a section on this page about who's behind it. Maybe you have a personal story about how you had this massive bill that could have been saved if you had pet insurance.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's like a small design thing that's kind of throwing me off. The this tab here doesn't align to the bottom of the calculator.
Yep.
Minor
Yeah.
thing. Okay, like the image though. That's a nice image.
Pets.
Good color.
Screams pets.
Taxonomy. Traxonomy. Business solutions reimagined.
Oh,
Okay.
I totally need business solutions reimagined.
Yeah.
So this is the place for me.
Taxonomy offers a wide range of consulting services with the necessary tools and experience. Okay, this is a long one-liner.
So way too much jargon here. We have
Yeah.
no idea what this is.
I have a feeling that even when we scroll down, we're not going to have an idea.
Yeah, you're talking about like what you believe and your thoughts on all businesses and stuff. There's a lot of stock photos that just come across as cheesy. Like what we're trying to get at here is like, what's the meat of this business? It sounds like maybe there isn't even a product if it's all consulting.
Like a consulting shop. Yeah.
But like, what's your specialty? Like, what are you good at consulting with? What clients have you worked with in the past? How have you helped them?
And even if you don't have clients, like where have you worked in the past?
Yeah.
Like maybe you had some interesting experiences that drove you to become a consultant.
Yep.
You could share those. Like you don't have to have too many case studies if you haven't.
Right. And who's the ideal customer or client for you? Like you want to speak to them in the header. Nobody's going to come here and be like, "Oh, I'm looking for business solutions reimagined. Like, can these people help me?"
So I think like oftentimes when I see these sites, they're generally to support the in-person sales process that you're already doing. Like this site is not going to generate traffic, but it's going to act as like a place where people can Google your company name. It's a pretty good .com.
Yep.
So if I'm like, if you're meeting people in in-person events and you give them your card, like you want somewhere that they can come to that like follows up on what you probably spoke about in person.
Yes.
So if you're selling business solutions to, let's say, transportation companies, then maybe you want to like frame that on your site when they arrive. Tiny point, you're missing SSL. That might be because you rolled your own like site on WordPress or something like that. Like it's 2020. I think most people do expect SSL to be enabled on sites.
Yep.
If you use something like Wix, I think it enables it by default.
Yep. You have an About Us page. Let's click on that.
Nope.
Oh, it's an About Us section. Okay.
But again,
Doesn't really tell me anything about you.
Yeah. What would be like? Are there any example sites that you could use to base this off of instead of this?
From a consulting perspective, I'm not sure.
I mean, again, you probably have friends that are like, the founder probably has friends that are in this space. One of the ways that you can base your site is just to go to other competitors and go to other people that are in the same business and kind of use some of the same elements that they have.
Yep.
Companies day one.ai.
Okay.
But the URL is not day1.ai. That's throwing me off a little bit immediately. It's AMDT. Well, maybe you're trying to work to buy it. Cool. day1.ai. Make your app marketing campaign effective day one.
Okay. What does that mean?
Yeah. Sign up for beta. Okay, we're missing the one-liner. You got to work on your one-liner. The best one-liners here already they help me identify who this is for and how it benefits me. I'm kind of getting the who it's for. Like if I have an app, maybe it's for me.
Yeah. So I have an app. I want to put together a marketing campaign. You're going to make it effective. But I don't know what that means.
And the day one part is throwing me. Like that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Like what's day one? The first day that I started working on the app or the first launch day?
And like, does it take time to ramp up marketing campaigns and okay, how it works?
Wow. Gray text on a white background with gray dots.
Super small too.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just old, I don't know.
Reduces acquisition costs by understanding user behavior on the first day of your app marketing campaign.
It also helps to fight bots and detect fraud traffic. Okay. So there's a lot going on here.
Main criteria, unique behavioral patterns.
So it's not clear, like, up top it sounded like you make the campaign more effective day one.
Which is advertising. That's like how I market it.
But now you're telling me about like fighting bots and detecting fraud. Which
maybe
is like
that's for like the ads so that fraudulent people aren't clicking on your app. But you wouldn't have that on day one.
Right, and that's also not making me more effective. It's like maybe saving me costs.
Yeah, so the fraud is about harming your marketing budget. But again, like, yeah, I'm really like torn. I think you're trying to say, like, it's possible that your product is a little bit unfocused and that's spilling over into your website.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you have users already, I think something that would be helpful would be to just go to them and say, how would you describe this product? And they're probably going to use different language and phrases than you use here. And they're probably also going to talk about like the one thing that's the most important to them. Yeah. And I think if you just take the words that they say and you just put those exact words up at the top here, with maybe like, I don't know if a screenshot is relevant or like some type of visual that helps communicate what's actually happening.
There's something interesting here. You bring up a point that's no more SDKs. No need to put yet another third-party SDK into your app. We use raw data from other popular analytics platforms. So one of the things that we've seen is be successful. Like if you're plugging into something like Segment or Mixpanel or an API that app developers might already have installed in their app, you could say that up front. Say like, we take your Mixpanel and Segment data and turn it into actionable marketing advice.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Got some work to do here, but I think it's definitely around like talking to your customers.
Yep. And it seems unlaunched, sign up for the beta.
Yeah.
So that's fine, but so what happens when you click that? The sign up for
just
beta? It takes you down
form.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. So like too many fields here probably. You should just put this form up in the main header rather than, you're requiring multiple actions now in this flow. You need somebody to click at the top.
You could just
then
put it
fill
here.
out. Yeah, exactly. Like just put like enter your email
and which
we'll let you know
analytics
when we launch.
platform. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Next one, waterloom.org.
Okay. Connect the common denominator. Future-proof local and global decisions on water.
Local predictive analytics to plan, produce, and protect. So you've got a lot of one-liners here. And there's another one. Yeah. Track and predict how local water affects your global. That's my favorite one.
Yeah. Yeah, that one actually says what's happening here.
I would probably consider killing the other ones and just using this one.
Yeah, and make it much bigger and just center it.
Okay. Track and predict how local water. I don't know what local water means, but maybe like local water supply.
Yeah. But like also, why do I care about that?
Yeah.
Like why do I want to track and predict it?
Is it like problems with the local water supply and how that affects my business?
Yeah.
That's potentially relevant.
Yeah, so figure out who you're speaking to here and what's the use case, and just talk to that specifically. I think a lot of times people feel like they need to make it sound super broad, so it sounds like really big and important.
Yeah.
But what happens is it sounds really vague, and it sounds like it's not for a specific person.
Ooh. Your Learn More button goes to an email,
Yeah.
a mail to link. That does not help me learn more.
Yeah.
That helps me not continue.
Yeah, so I think that was
reading your
to an Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, if you're listening, I think a good approach here, rather than asking people to email you, is when you have a lot of offline conversations with people about what your company does and how it works and who it's for, they probably ask a lot of follow-up questions. And so hopefully you have a sense of the types of things that resonate with people and what they're interested to learn. And that's the point of a website, is not to get people to then email you to find out information. It's actually just to put that information on the website. So I would list the most common questions that you get. Just put answers to those directly here up at the top to give people a clear idea of who this is for and what they should use it for. I also don't know what you want me to do on this page. Like, assume I'm your perfect end customer, and what do you want me to do here? Like, email you to learn more? Do you want me to pay you something? Like, I'm not clear what I should do.
A small problem is you've got a .org domain, which immediately makes me think of nonprofits.
Yeah.
And especially considering you're talking about water prioritization, water usage, like that kind of reinforces this like nonprofit idea. But then you talk about we inform investors so they plan for the future, which makes me think that this is not a nonprofit. So maybe be more clear about that, either by switching away from a .org or just saying like what your business is up at the top.
Yeah.
We enable investors to make better decisions based on water resource allocation or something.
And from a UI design perspective, there's a lot going on here and a lot of inconsistency that I think hurts the credibility of the site. So you've got a lot of like moving background images. You've got a lot of boxes that seem to have somewhat random alignment. You have a lot of different fonts and colors, a lot of different font sizes. It's hard to get the hierarchy of things. This email address capture form, is like white on light blue, and so it's really hard to read.
And then black, yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't even call out, like, hey, enter your email address to get what. Even the button says submit. It doesn't say like learn more or like sign up or something like that.
Yeah. I do like the animated graphics. That makes the site feel a little bit more modern and looks nice, but it's kind of thrown off by this text with a blue kind of border.
It's hard for my eye to figure out what you want me to look at and focus on because there's a lot of different things going on at once.
It's all moving.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is Shane with Boostly. Hi, Shane. Okay, Boostly. More new and repeat customers. A smart marketing system for restaurants that automatically markets to customers based on their engagement with your brand. Okay, your subtitle is much better than your main title.
Based on their engagement with your brand. Okay.
Maybe like their online.
Yeah. Yeah, so the sub is definitely better. And it's good in that it leads me to ask questions like, oh, how do you do that? How have these customers already engaged with my brand?
And I know who it's for. It's for restaurants.
Yeah.
So that's a good start.
Yep. So make that a lot bigger.
Let's see how it works. Okay, how it works. Build a customer database, have data, we can use it. No data, relax. We've got data. A lot of mentions of data.
Yeah, and so if I'm a restaurant owner, I don't know anything about a database. I don't know anything about data.
Like complicated Wi-Fi circle.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there. Like, I just want you to tell me how you're going to get me more customers.
What's that great local business YC company that does reviews based out of Austin? I can't remember the name. Anyways, but not as helpful as I should be. I should remember it.
Well, okay, so now we're starting to get to something here, which is text them on autopilot. So texting drives incremental visits. So now it makes me think you've got a product that somehow captures the phone number of visitors to website or to restaurants and then can auto text them with specials and promotions and things like that. So maybe it's like I come and I put my name on the waiting list and give you my phone number, and then you text me later to get me to come back. Bring in new customers. So like what I want to know is like, where do you get the new customers from? How do you know that they're gonna want to come and eat at my restaurant? Okay, something about referrals. You probably prompt for reviews on Yelp and things.
For an example, oh, that moved pretty quick.
Everything's still very vague. It's like Boostly's customer acquisition tools, but like, what are they?
Yeah.
And so you can see we're trying to piece things together based on headlines or screenshots that we see. But we could be way off base too. I do like that you have a phone number up top. Like that makes me think that you're probably legit.
Yeah.
But still very confused on what this is or why I would want to call that number.
Kind of to go back to something we talked about before, if you can work from an example and you have some customers, like clearly people are using this, you can kind of tackle two birds with one stone by sharing how this specific company, like tell us how Local Joe's restaurant used your product to double their sales. And walk us through, instead of these kind of like abstract examples where you have screenshots that we can't really tell which company they're for, like walk us through like the 1, 2, 3 steps for how one of your customers benefited from using your service. Because then they can, like, you get two benefits there. People who are in a similar category can filter themselves into that. They know, like, oh, I'm also a restaurant in a similar style. This is relevant to me. How can I use it? How can I benefit from it?
Yep. The biggest question somebody's going to have coming to your website is, what is this? And so you need to be able to answer that really crisply and concisely. Is it for me? So you need to be able to answer, who this is for. You want it to resonate with them, and you want to be actually more specific rather than more broad.
Okay, you've got a blinking thing going on the left here. I can't even see what it is. I think it's the same thing
from Irving, Texas.
Blinking over and over. And I've seen those before, but this is not.
Okay, so it's showing that somebody signed up.
But it turns off really quickly.
Yeah. So I think you're trying to do the thing like, there's only 2 hotel rooms left at this price, to show the social proof of lots of people signing up. But it blinks, it's super small text. It's actually just more noise than it's actually effective.
Yeah. And if you really have this many customers, like I almost don't trust it because of the way that the site works. Like you don't even have a link to the actual product or an example. If you really do have that many customers, I would say like we have 35 customers that are using the product.
Yep.
Like you don't have to hide it behind that blinking thing. Cool. Next up, Martine from Loupe earplugs. Protect your ears in style. Hearing protection. Cool.
Okay.
Beautiful image. I get that someone's yelling, and I can see the product. Yeah. That's cool. Okay.
Protect your ears in style. Okay, so earplugs.
Reinvented. Loupe is designed to reduce volume by 20 dB. I'm an engineer and I barely know what dB means. It's like a logarithmic scale. Okay, without sacrificing audio clarity. So I think this sounds like it's for people who go to shows, like music events, and want to listen to it while not getting their ears damaged.
So I thought that too, but then I get to the next image, and that doesn't look like they're at a show.
No, unless it's a show that I'm not invited to. Experience clear sound. Okay, so like, I think it is that.
Yeah.
I mean, based on the images, like some tattoos here.
There's definitely like a kind of like a high class vibe going with some of this. Like rose gold, and you're trying to show like the build quality and things like that.
You got music here, but it's like listening to music, going to music. Ooh, a wired link? Let's go see that. Nope, can't see it. That's weird. Like if you've got an article in Wired and I can't click on it, that seems like a total missed opportunity. Look at this. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is great.
But not great because I can't click on it.
Right. I want to learn more.
Look, okay, I think we were right. Like, look, it's definitely that.
Yeah, so the problem, okay, so I think the team behind this has some vision of the brand that they want to create.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it matches with the design of the product, but I'm not sure that it actually matches with the use cases for the product. Like, I would expect to see people at festivals wearing these and not looking, really goofy with like orange earplugs sticking out, which is the common thing.
And how you can hear the music rather than just block it completely.
Yeah, and none of the imagery actually reflects the common use cases.
Yeah. So as a person who's started a hardware company, I'm also like super worried when I hear about technology because it implies that you have to charge them or there's some sort of electronics. But I don't think there is technology. I mean, like there's technology in the shape and the form, but not like electronics.
Yep.
So you could clarify that these are not electronic headphones. Like you can't listen to music.
Yeah. And then it looked like the price was only like $30 down there, which is actually cheaper than I would have expected, which might also be a reflection of the brand image you're trying to create, which looks high end.
Yeah. Got some reviews. I like that. Like this helps. Like all of this is selling me that this is a real company that really exists. So that's great.
Yep.
The store looks pretty easy to use.
Comes in different styles.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the biggest thing is putting some imagery that actually shows people using it in the specific use cases you would expect.
That FAQ link does not like you're spending so much attention here. Like you're putting this front and center, and then having a link that basically goes to nothing might not be worth it. Cool, but I'm interested. That seems relevant to my interests, and yeah, pretty good site overall.
Yep.
Form facade. Who are we speaking with? Lathla.
Embed Google form in your website.
Embed inquiry form in your website. Make Google Forms look professional on your website.
So you might want to say forms. Embed feedback forms rather than embed feedback form in your website.
Oh yes, I played with this weekend because I needed this service and I saw this on Startup School. So I cheated a bit. So I've used the product. It takes like actual Google Forms and it adds like CSS styling to them to make them not look like the classic Google form.
Okay, so are you actually embedding it in your site or you're just styling it to match your site?
You don't have a form in your own website. Yeah. Wow, that's a missed opportunity.
And that try it free button is so small. I think the most compelling example that you have is the before and after, like the two side-by-side things. It shows me like, I recognize that is a default Google form. And it's the typical ugly purple thing. No offense to the purple on your site. And then there's the after, which looks like, it could embed or looks just like any other site. And so that's the most compelling thing, I think. I would pull that like up into your header, make the text bigger, explaining what it is and why I should use it.
It's also such a simple, compelling feature that you want to you want people who use Google Forms to immediately understand. Like you should be able to show, the way that I would test your site as you're improving it is talk to maybe 10 or 20 other founders in Startup School. Like everyone uses Google Forms. I mean, people who don't want to pay $40 to type form or whatever, all use Google Forms.
Yeah.
And just make sure that 10 out of 10 people who come to your site understand exactly what it's for.
Yeah, and so I would actually get rid of the rotating text in the top. All it should say is just Google Forms. And people could use Google Forms as inquiries or whatever the other things that you're saying. But you want people to instantly know, I use Google Forms, this is for me.
Yeah, no blinking cursor here, no secondary thing. Just embed Google Forms in your website and then jump into the example.
But is it actually embedding Google Forms, though?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so it's not just changing the CSS.
No, so you could actually add the form into your website,
cool,
so you don't have to link into there.
Okay, that's
so
what
it's
I would
great.
have expected.
Actually, and I've been spending a little bit more time looking at this product. For me personally, I think of this as a better type form.
Yep.
Type form costs $50. They're basically scamming people out of huge amounts of money, and because Superhuman uses it, everyone else has to use it.
Right.
I love Google Forms. And I love the idea of not having to have like the classic Google URL and everything.
Yeah.
Like, actually, there's 3 features that I think are really important. Like, make the form look the way that my website looks. Don't use a Google URL, like embedding it
Right.
so you could use your own
Yep.
own URL. Like maybe there's just 2,
Yep.
and like you're not conveying that to me.
Yep. It's too much of like a wall of text in that
Yeah.
section right above. Like nobody's really going to read that. Font too small.
These
Like this should be
This
your
is
one
great.
line. Yeah, you have got good
Well,
customers.
yeah.
It doesn't go anywhere, but
This doesn't lead me completely to believe that they're your customers. It's just a bit too.
but I actually like that line at the bottom there. Make Google Forms look great.
Yeah.
Like that could be your header, and then subheader that's just like directly embed Google Forms into your website so it matches your native look and feel and keeps your standard URL or something like that.
Let's check out your pricing. So start your 14-day trial today. I used your site. It seemed pretty free. Like I didn't even have to do anything. Why are you overcomplicating things? Like it's free right now. I don't think you're charging for it. Why have 3 options rather than just like free and then paid?
Mm-hmm. And I guess another question I have is like, can you not embed Google Forms right now?
You can. You can. There's an iframe option,
Okay.
but I think you can't style it, and
Okay.
yeah,
So this is a wrapper around that probably
I think so.
that lets you style it.
Yeah. Anyways, cool. I think you got some pretty good stuff to work with here. Next up, Nafiz, crawl. How are we doing on time? We're 1 hour in. Okay. Crawl.
Skip the outdated recruitment process. Classic keyword matchers and work experience filters does not work in 2020. Okay, so you're telling me things about your industry and competitors, but nothing about you.
And it's also like you're jumping very specifically into like very detailed points of your product here
Yeah.
before I even know who this is for or whether it's relevant to me.
Or what it does. Like, what is crawl? Like, how far down do we have to go to figure out what crawl is?
Enrich your CV portfolio.
Okay.
So that sounds like it's for me as a job seeker, but I don't think it is. Oh, it is. And we have,
Yeah, and this is overlapping the text.
yeah. I was going to turn it off, but anyways. So it's definitely for job seekers.
Okay.
Let the jobs come to you. Didn't get that from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm still confused on what the beginning is saying, even now that I have a sense of what it is.
Instead of hacking, focus on building, evaluate. So this is, now I'm back to thinking that it's for companies, evaluating work history and backgrounds, public profiles. Yeah, I think
Crawls all the job openings.
crawl also makes it sound more like it's for the company to crawl.
Yeah, well, okay, so you're starting to get to that somewhere down here. Crawls all the job
Nope. Now.
two ends and openings
Yeah.
also. Finds and analyzes job and openings with a different spelling here.
Yeah.
With the help of NLP, matches you with overfitting jobs and handles HR process for you. I don't know. I feel like we've read most of this page and
And
we just
still-
don't know what's happening.
Yeah. So
And then you've got something for developers and a website builder.
like oftentimes like when this happens, you can get a lot by just sharing it with a few people who you believe are smart and asking them what they think. Because like if you like you don't have to overthink things too much. Just like share what you've built with your friends and family and see if they understand it.
Yep. And this is hard sometimes to put yourself in the mentality of somebody that knows nothing about your company because you think about this all the time. You have assumptions about how it works, or you know how it works, or you've used the product yourself. And it's hard to communicate that to people that have never seen it before. And so by sharing it with other people that don't have the experience, you can figure out like where are the missing gaps that you need to fill in.
Okay. I think I see what it is. I think it's something like an about.me page for developers.
Okay.
which is cool.
Yeah, something like this maybe should be the homepage then.
Yeah, like why not lead off with a screenshot of this, and your call to action could be like build a resume web page with one click.
Yeah.
Cool. Syncs with all these different things, pulls it in. Yeah.
Yeah, and if it is developer focused, like make sure you speak to developers up at the top, like right off the bat.
This page, the website builder page, is much better than your landing page.
Definitely.
There, create your custom one pager in seconds.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, this page.
So much clearer.
Resize your cards. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I would just switch to this one.
Yep.
As your main page. Next up, Shiju with unremote.
Okay. New office spaces here, virtual and remote. Now work from home just like you do so from office.
Okay, a few English language problems in that first sentence.
Yeah, I'm still not sure what it does. Like it's a virtual office, but how is that different than like a Zoom call or chatting with my team on Slack?
Read more stories. There's a WhatsApp link here. That takes me deep links me into WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay, so talking about the industry in general is not helpful to convince people that they should try your product. These are just facts about things that are not your company. You really want to keep it focused on your company and why somebody should use you.
Okay, we're getting a little bit closer to it. Single-click videos, seamless. Well, only one of those things kind of makes sense to me. Single-click video.
Yeah.
But the other one's just... Okay, now you're trying to get me to watch a video, but that just links me back to your site where there is no video.
That's why, what makes different. Okay, so you can manage remote employees seamlessly. They can collaborate with their teams upon single clicks.
There's a lot of clicks to open that video, and now I'm not sure what's open.
Yeah, and it looks like you're just scrolling through your own website.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're still kind of lost as to what your product does.
Yeah, so you talk in generalities about helps people collaborate better and things like that. It's hard to visualize what that means and how it's different from the ways that I already collaborate.
Yeah.
So I think more specifics would be helpful. Like, for example, the one thing that resonated with Eric was one-click video. Like, okay, that's something specific and I can visualize how that works. What are some other things that you offer?
Okay, now I'm actually really interested in what your product is from this blurry screenshot. Like, this seems kind of cool. It looks like you got your team here and you can screen share, like, or even video with someone while you're chatting at the same time. Like, that's pretty cool. Maybe you need to highlight like a demo earlier.
Yep. Yeah, make screenshots bigger so we don't have to zoom up on the screen to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Be very specific about the features that you offer and why it's better than what's currently out there.
And you've got some users, like there are people on your product.
I assume you're based in India.
Yeah. One of the things that Aaron mentioned before is you can actually go to your customers and ask them how they use your product and how they benefit from it, and use the words that they share like on your page, because there's probably other customers that are in the same boat. Okay. Next up, Jamal from Move Halal. Oops. Ooh. Pop-up for newsletter. Ooh, lots of pop-ups. I haven't even begun to explore what your...
Yeah, we don't even know what you do yet.
Like, that doesn't sound like a great idea.
And also, it's just like, newsletter.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to close this so that I can see what's under it. Fresh food, featured products, PETA, halal.
Okay, so I think this is like food delivery.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely some sort of shopping site.
Yeah.
Food shopping site.
Do you deliver it where?
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, is this relevant to me? I live in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Is it available and in stock there?
Yeah, so if there's no description of what this is, and actually you don't even have a logo anywhere or the name of the product. So that would be helpful.
So who is this for? Who is this for, and what is it? before you jump into,
It's just not, there's like a link there, but
Yeah.
there's no image. So maybe there's supposed to be something. Yeah, so right off the bat, who is this? Where are you, like we ship
halal food to people in,
this
Yeah.
country or region or city or whatever.
yeah. Cool. Well, it looks like you're live, so congratulations on launching. You've got some stuff on there, and we're in Oakland. You're in the Bay Area. This
Oh.
is like relevant. This could be like relevant directly to our interests.
That was not what I thought.
Did not get that.
Yeah.
So maybe frame the problem. Like you started this company presumably because of, for some reason. Like there you are. So you created this. Oh, for us.
Oh, there's even a note for
It's
us.
for us. Yeah. It's an MVP to get and start users. Goal is to become Instacart for halal products.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe you could say that, like right on the front. We're like quick halal delivery.
Yeah, you could say something like, get the products that other delivery services won't bring
Yeah.
to you. Something like that. Or get like, if it's certain ethnic products or halal or something like that nobody else will give.
Yeah.
And so then I know if I want that kind of stuff, maybe I'm even frustrated, like I use Instacart for other things, but I have to make a grocery trip
Yeah.
to a special store in order to get the other products. That
So
I
I see that you created this MVP. You went very deep on adding like a lot of different products here. I think that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for you to determine whether your MVP is actually working, because you have so many different like parts of it that customers don't immediately know like what they should be doing here.
Yeah, and you have 4 shop buttons, and I'm not sure what the difference is between each of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's different kinds of products. If it's just different kind of products, then maybe just different filters that.
Personally, like if if this is really an MVP and you're just beginning, I would like start with one thing, like fresh halal meats, and just test that idea first. If that doesn't work, maybe go on and test restaurants. But at least you'll get a better signal. You'll get better data that what you're pitching to users like is actually resonating.
Yeah, it seems kind of all over the map too, because you've got the meats and then you've got like physical products.
Yeah.
And so.
Like I need this now. I want to have lunch now.
Right.
But this I don't need delivered in like 20 minutes.
Right.
Cool. It's a good start. Jeff from ReadUp. Read past the headlines. Your favorite articles and stories, 100% distraction free.
Okay. I'm not sure exactly what that means. The distraction free makes me think you like hide the ads of articles that I'm reading. I'm also not sure how it's different than.
RSS feeds.
Yeah, or what is it, like readability or whatever it is that's built into the browser? A lot of times I feel like it can do that.
What we're reading, articles.
Okay, so there's like some gamification here, it seems like, because there's a point system and there's winners.
So this is what the readers of ReadUp are reading. Great domain name, ReadUp.
There's an article of the day.
So this is a clickable link. Okay, Scout.
Is this supposed to be like
it's like a Hacker News style?
Yeah, or
like
product
Reddit.
hunt for
Product hunt
articles?
for news. Yeah.
So maybe the headline is something like find the most read or talked about articles on the internet today, or something like that.
There's also like, I think you have a perspective, like because the product was started by you, Bill, and Jeff, like I'm sure that the product like reflects your choices and like your background. Sometimes like you can embrace that and say who this is for. Like we are Bill and Jeff. We started it because we wanted articles about X, Y, or Z in a better format. Like you probably will enjoy that as well if you're in a similar group.
Yeah, and your about is a little more specific about what this product is. So ReadUp is a social reading platform, the new best way to find, read, and share articles and stories online.
Yeah. I'm wondering if this is actually more important than the actual like undistracting reading platform. Like this seems like it's a community of a specific type of people and articles that they want to read.
Definitely, and the thing that resonates with me is that you say that you're active in the comments every day and you love getting emails from the community. So I get the sense that you're both community builders, and your interaction and activity is the type of thing that's going to get this off the ground when people see that you're engaged.
Okay, so this is really cool. This is almost like a social network for what I'm reading. I would be interested in this, but I didn't, like, I want to kind of see what articles my friends are reading, and do they spend time reading them? But I didn't get that immediately.
Yep.
The only issue that I'd have kind of with the product and less the design is people already do this with Twitter and Facebook.
Right.
And I have to know why I would switch from tweeting or posting links on those platforms to doing it on your platform. Is there any way that you could pull it in from like other channels that I'm already sharing them with?
Yeah, and it seems like there's a few different things going on in value props that you're talking about. So like distraction-free reading, share with your friends, comment on articles,
but there's
figure
no
out what's
example
most
of that.
popular. Yeah, so there's no example of that. But I'd be curious to know, of the people that are really engaged right now and are actively using the product, what's the one thing that they really care about? And I would focus on that, because that's probably what's going to find other like-minded people that get that value from you.
You don't have an example? Like I'm trying desperately to look at what the product is without signing up, because I'm allergic to signing up for things and I can't do it. And I feel like you should be able to like let me see, oh there, okay. You must read the article before you can post a reply.
Okay,
But
so you have to
I
click
can't
on
read the
it.
article because I don't want to sign up. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so they pull in all the articles on their platform. You read it on
Yeah.
ReadUp, I guess, and that's how you know if you've read it.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Cool. Good start.
It is interesting to force people to read the article before being able to comment on it.
Yeah, unlike Hacker News, where I
Nobody
rarely-
reads the article, probably.
Next up, Mia with Just Juno. It's just Juno.
All right. Step into the life of these real heroines.
Make decisions and pave your own path. Sounds like a game. Okay, beta tester. Cool.
Yeah, I think we need a lot more information about what this is, who it's for, why somebody should use it. Is it a game?
Looks like a...
This looks
like
historical.
Yeah. Or an education app.
Yeah. Is this to teach me history?
Tell us what it is. Like, the website is your chance to kind of embed a little bit of information in the person who's visiting. So take advantage of that. Be proud of what you've made. The images scrolling past here, they're just scrolling too quick and they're too small and too blurry. Like you could imagine on the left of your page saying what it is, like this is a game for young kids to learn more about Indonesian history, and then on the right, like 1 or 2 screenshots rather than 9 different screenshots.
Yeah, a good way to think about the copy on your site is it's your opportunity to be in the room with somebody when they're seeing your product for the first time. And so in real life, if you're telling somebody about your product, there's probably a sequence of things that you tell them. Like, oh, I've made this new game. It's called Just Juno. You get to play as a heroine from our past and learn about history, and I'm making all this stuff up.
Yeah, because we don't know yet.
Yeah, but there's a sequence of things that you would tell somebody in person, and you basically just want to take all of that stuff and put that directly on your website.
I mean,
Just like you're
even
doing.
your Twitter bio has a little bit more. We empower women to reach their full potential through gamification. That's more data than we saw on the website.
Yep.
Okay, so you got some work to do here on just like conveying a little bit more information, but yeah.
Okay, here we go. Our first product is an interactive storytelling app for girls where they can play the character of real female role models from the country. Show them possibilities that they're another standard of success for women and that they too could achieve what these successful women achieve. Love
That's
it.
great. Yeah, let's put that on the homepage.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks.
And then a download link or whatever the action is that you want somebody to take from there.
Next up is Natalie from callswitchboard.com. Record and send personalized reminders to share with aging loved ones. Almost got it. The part that threw me off was reminders. Like I was expecting messages, like record and send personalized messages to share with aging loved ones, unless I don't understand what it is.
Right. And you want to check in, but calling every day can be tough. Like, is it checking in if you're sending an automated message?
Yeah.
Because the checking in is more like receiving how well they're doing than it is about pushing a message to them. So that's confusing to me. What are some use cases? Like, this is where my brain goes. I want to figure out, like, what would I use this for? Maybe I have an aging loved one that I'm concerned about. Okay, so leave personalized messages, remind mom to take her heart medication after breakfast, send dad a note. Okay, so it sounds like it's almost like a third party is sending somebody alerts or reminders.
So here's one thing that I can't visualize yet, which is how does the old person receive the message? Like, do they already have to know how to use an iPad? Is it some sort of Alexa?
Is it an automated call?
Yeah. I can't yet visualize that.
Yep.
Cool, you've got some users. That's great.
Yeah, this is good.
After her hip replacement, my mother never remembered to take her medication. Switchboard gave me peace of mind that I was doing the best to help her bring back to health.
Okay, so this is a little too much on how Switchboard overall made somebody feel, and less on like what the person used Switchboard for.
What did it do? How did they use it? Okay, yeah, we're already at close to the bottom of the page, and we still don't know what it is. Like, Switchboard implies that it's a phone system, so that's great because then they don't have to learn anything. But you didn't tell me that. I'm like getting that exclusively from your domain.
Yeah, I just saw this on the way back up. Go to like right under. Yeah. Okay, so easy to use. Okay, create and scheduling reminder calls.
Oh, reminder calls.
Okay.
Okay.
And then customize messages. Edit and schedule calls to meet your. And then check in summary. Receive a summary report when your loved one receives your message. Okay, so that's important information.
Maybe it's got to be here.
Yeah, and bigger.
Yeah. So like.
Everything's buried in underneath the headers in the like little body copy there, and people don't actually read all the content on your site, unfortunately, as you can see that we've done. And most people just pick off like what the header messages say and scroll until you see another header message and skipping over all the other stuff. So make sure the important bits are in large text that's bold, that stands out.
Maybe you could do, instead of this like icons here, you could do a 1, 2, 3. Like 1, record a message to remind your parent to take their meds.
Yep.
2, schedule that to arrive every day at 9 a.m. 3, your grandma gets a call every day at 9 a.m. with your voice and a customized message.
And you get the summary report.
Yeah.
To confirm it was received.
But you see how that would be like so, like it tells me what you do and how easy it is to use without saying the words easy to use.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the biggest tricks for communicating is it's always better to show rather than tell. Anybody can say it's easy to use.
Yeah.
People do all the time, even if it's not easy to use. But if you can communicate like Eric just did with 1, 2, 3, like, oh, that seems easy to use, you're showing the user how it actually works.
Okay, we got thrown into a type form. Can't use the app.
Maybe they could use the Google form thing.
Yeah. Don't have to pay them $50 a month. It literally is the cheapest type form plan right now is like $45. They must be making so much money. Cool. Yeah, this sounds like a useful product. Like, just clarify the kind of the opportunity or how it helps people, and I think you've got a great start. Miriam from Softer. Zoom in.
Visually build websites and marketplaces and web apps without code. Okay, so I know what that is.
And you've got this kind of like form builder, page builder here. Mm-hmm. Build websites, marketplaces, or web apps using building blocks. 10 times faster, 10 times cheaper. Okay, I'm foreseeing an issue here. I can't tell who it's for. So you've got a couple different value props here. One is like people who may have tried to work with outsourced development shops and this is easier than that, or people who just have an idea and want to make it for the first time. Let's see how we get. ooh, you're overloading me here by trying to make me imagine 3 different
Yeah, there's
use
probably
cases.
one thing. I mean, they're all websites. A marketplace is a type of website. A web app is a type of website. I think just focus on that and keep it simple.
The most intuitive website builder for startups?
Okay.
What type of startups? What? Yeah. There are many website builders here, so you're also working against, you have to differentiate why I would choose you over Webflow or Wix or Squarespace. But it seems like it's specifically for startups. So that's good, but what type of startups?
Yeah, and so you haven't launched yet, but you're also promising a lot of features, email lists and integrations and things that work well for general websites, marketplaces, web apps, like all these different things. And so my hunch is you could probably launch a lot faster, if not already, if you just cut out most of those features and you just focused on the one core use case of the person who needs this most right now.
Yeah, so like one of the most successful early no-code apps was Launch. What was that Launch website where you could just like create a launch
LaunchRock.
LaunchRocket.
Yep.
Like that was an amazing site because it conveyed quickly like who this is for and how they could like press a button and get value. So the risk here is that you're promising so much that makes it hard for people to know exactly like how they could use this. Where like you kind of say it here, the website you're reading now is built on software. So maybe this website is specifically for startup founders to build like a better landing page.
Yep.
And if that's the case, then maybe just say that.
Yep.
Cool. Page looks good though. So like pretty solid design.
I think one other thing that we could use is a more concrete or visual example of how the blocks work. I assume there's like components and you just kind of easily drop them into the page.
Yeah.
And maybe this is just because you haven't launched yet, but if you have anything kind of visual that you can show of the actual product, then I think that would be helpful.
Here's one example. Why can't I rearrange this landing page? If this website is now built built on software, like what if right below here you're like try changing the price or move the fields around?
Edit this now. Edit this page.
That would actually be pretty cool.
Yep.
Like an edit button.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Softer. I almost want to have a section on like how people chose their name because I'm sure there's like really interesting stories behind every name choice. Junior, a lunchbox delivery service for school kids.
Okay, this is interesting to me.
Cool.
It makes me smile.
The only one of the questions that I have is where, because I'm sure that this really depends on which country. Okay, India. Yeah, because India has this entire system of moving lunchboxes around. Have you ever seen this? So, as a side note, like, Indian lunchbox system. It's incredibly cool. It's like the kind of thing that I learned on Hacker News. So there's these people. So people will. If you visit Mumbai, people will like make their lunches and then send them on these delivery people to like bring them to office buildings downtown, so that you can get like a home cooked lunch every day. And it's this like.
But they make their own lunch at home and then have somebody else deliver it?
Yeah.
Why don't they bring it themselves?
Very good question. It's because they leave too early before they've cooked the lunch for the day. So there's this entire logistics system that like, anyways, it's very cool. And if you're in Mumbai, you can go to the train station and actually see these people like carrying them all. Anyways, so that's the context as to why I think this service exists.
So yeah, a lunchbox delivery service for school kids in India.
In India, there. Because that will like immediately let people who are from India and they understand the Davos system, they will be able to kind of figure out whether they want that. Almost everyone has seen with Parceler Junior, we can guarantee the following: comfort, fresh food, good health.
But it says you get to prepare the lunchbox
you?
comfortably. Yeah, like do you cook the food or is the user supposed to cook the food?
And you say our moms, but like, are you the mom or are you the kid?
Yeah.
Who's the person on this website? You have to just sign up for. Okay, it is for a parent.
So is it just the delivery that they do? They don't actually make the food.
Let's see. Yes, I believe it is.
You comfortably cook food and put it in your child's lunchbox.
Yeah, so it's totally the same system for like business people, but for kids. I think that's super cool. I guess one of the questions, I don't know too much about the whole system, but like, why can't you use the existing system? I guess they don't
Right.
deliver to...
Right. And from a business perspective, I'd be curious, like, what advantages are there to
Yeah.
delivering to schools, I assume? Like, does that mean you have less routing to do?
Yeah.
Because there's fixed locations for lots of people, something like that.
Yeah, cool. I like the WhatsApp thing. I think like that's super key. You could even include a link like that will deep link you into a WhatsApp conversation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think some of the graphics, if you could have even photos, like especially up at the top, it's like the balloons are
Yeah.
delivering kind of like
It seems
an
like a wasted
Amazon box or
opportunity.
something.
Yeah. Like if you could have someone in an auto rickshaw delivering
Yeah.
the lunch to a school.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would resonate.
Good start. The call to action. Let's see it. WhatsApp. Nice. That's it. Yeah.
Cool.
That'd be the right way to do it in India. You're making me hungry. I could definitely eat paneer. Want she's. Achieve your happiness goal, connect with amazing activities, enjoy your life.
Well, that sounds great, but I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
Or if it's for me or what I would use it
There's
for.
an app.
Be a better you.
It's very aspirational.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But how? So this is another example of going way, way, way too broad to the
Yeah.
point where you say we're oh so focused in that block of text, but
Intangible.
it seems like it's not.
Everything big starts with small changes. Your happiness starts with your little happy moments.
Great. So if you take that phrase, that quote that you have, Jenny, that's something that you should apply to your website because it seems like you're trying to start with the big thing rather than trying to start with the small thing. So what are the small changes that you help people with that will lead to the big changes in their life, and focus on that rather than the big, broad changes you want to have?
And honestly, this is like one of those conundrums that founders run into, which is they have this big vision and they want to share that with the world, but they're almost like embarrassed to share the first step that they're starting with. And this is counterintuitive, but it's actually better to share the small thing that you're doing that's very tangible and understandable. Don't be embarrassed about it. Like, make sure that people understand the first thing that you do before sharing the larger vision. Let's take a look at the app because I imagine that might help us understand a little bit more.
Okay, it's a goal tracker. I don't even think the words goal tracker were on the
Yeah.
website.
So we're looking at the app now. Make your goals a reality. Create and visualize, achieve it and share. Find new interests. Yeah, I mean, you got to say that on your website. It's a goal tracker, and you can set your goals and share with them when you achieve them.
I didn't even know it was an app. Because unless you look at those buttons, like I don't think it says it's an app anywhere
It's
or
like
what
it's
it does
mostly
or
a
how it
blog,
works.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I think your explanation on your app page is actually better than your web page.
Yep.
So I would kind of start like almost by assuming start by explaining your app, and then after that maybe explain the larger vision for the company. But I would do just like the app above the fold. Oh, these are links. What are these?
Let's go to Instagram.
No, they're just clicks. I guess these are aspirational. Maybe these are the goals that you're setting. But I don't get that. Okay. Yeah, my recommendation: start from explaining the app. Okay, next up is Marcin from Joint. J-O int. From idea to venture in a single app, a contextual work and life organizer for entrepreneurs, freelancers, and creative types.
Okay, what do you help me organize?
Let's zoom in. I think I'm just zoomed out. Wow, I can't really see what this is. So this is one of the problems with screenshots, right? Like, it's hard to jump in and understand what something is just from a screenshot.
Yep. You get all the levels of detail. So one trick that you can do is you can actually just zoom in on one specific part of the app that you're trying to show. Another thing is you can just almost create like a blocky version of your app. You know, it's like you just kind of put blocks of gray text to to kind of mask the unimportant parts and focus in on the part that you want people to see. But always the best thing is screenshots should be like supporting evidence. The description is really how you're going to communicate to people what you do and why they should use it.
And they also draw my attention. Like I'm definitely not going to read this block of text. I'm going to look at the picture because a picture is always something that I'll prefer to look at.
Yep.
And so even if this did explain it, like I just haven't even taken the time to read it.
It seems like there's a lot going on here too. It's like combining communication, collaboration, bookmarking, or all the other things that you say there. It's like, what's the one thing that people would use this for? And just really focus in on that.
Yeah, just too much text. I don't really like the white on black either.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem as positive. Like having an entire black page just feels a little bit too dark.
Yeah. I worry about your URL also. Like it's really going to be tough to say that to somebody and have them end up in the right place.
Yeah, one thing that I always like to imagine is like, imagine if you're phoning someone and you need to explain your email address. How would you say that? I'm Eric at j-o- and yeah. There's got to be a better .com. Yeah, unfortunately, we got lost right at the beginning, and we haven't been able to jump back onto the path.
It's all super theoretical too. It seems like rather than telling me specifically what can your app do that will help me today.
And what's interesting is you've built the app. Like it's clear that you've made
there's
it.
something there. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, ingredients. So are you
not a
food site?
Not a food site.
There's something about advertising, workflows. Yeah.
Identity. Ooh. Get some blockchain. Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
Nope, just digital ID. Is that your page? No, I don't think so. Okay. Yeah. The good news is that like you've built something. It looks like you have some users. We talked about this before. The trick is to go to them and say, what is the value that you're getting out of this? But unfortunately, we are still at a loss.
Yep. Growth channel. AI-powered digital ads.
European site always asks for cookies.
I hate that. AI-powered digital ads for fintech startups. Okay. Don't know what that is.
Get unlimited Forex and crypto ad campaigns for up to 12 platforms on a small...
Do you create the campaigns? Like, are you creating the imagery? Are you creating the content? Are you telling me what keywords I should target?
This is kind of funny. No payroll. I would not have suspected that an ad company would need payroll.
No hourly billing?
Yeah. Okay.
Activate your digital...
Let's keep going down.
Okay, you almost get there. We help Forex brokers, funds, and crypto exchanges
do what? Save time, save money, cancel. Although these are features of your product.
Yeah, but like how?
You got to tie these together. Like
yeah. What do you help them do? Like literally, what does your product do?
How about we help Forex brokers, funds, and crypto exchanges run digital ads? Or not run, but like...
Yeah. But also even like what is run? Is run like you buy the ads, you figure out who to target, you design them, like it's unclear.
Okay. Too many icons here that aren't really telling me positively what you do.
Yeah.
Keep going, how it works. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Send us your brief.
It seems like you're an ad firm, like a marketing firm. Like
campaigns go live, all campaign related. I'm also curious, like why fintech? Like what's like specifically can you do that is useful for fintech and even fintech startups that wouldn't be as relevant in other industries?
Yeah.
There's probably something unique or special that you're doing. Maybe it's like you have a ton of domain experience, and so rather going
like we've run 300 campaigns for different like crypto exchanges. We know the space inside and out.
Yep. And like that's the lifeblood of so many fintech companies is being able to profitably acquire users. And so if you just kind of start with something like that, and tell how you are the experts at this? Like, why would you go with any other, I don't know if you're a digital agency or something like that, why would you go with any other ad buying agency versus this one if you're a fintech company?
You've got a little bit of a complication here. Like, these are the channels on which people can run ads. You don't say that. Like, you could be explicit here. You could say, with Growth Channel, you can run ads on these 12 ad networks easily.
But I don't understand why you're better. Like, do you get people certain results? Are you cheaper?
Maybe a case study. So presumably you've worked with some customers. Explain how you help them.
Yeah, is it for me? Okay.
Oh,
great.
So you have 10 years of experience.
Yeah, why are you burying that in tiny text at the bottom of the page under a plus sign?
Yeah. I don't get why the location is important.
Yeah. What is a request?
What does PPC mean?
Pay
per click? Okay.
I don't know. That's what I would guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has a different meaning in this context.
Learn with Growth Channel. Okay. I think there's some simplification that you can get here, but it looks like the site looks clean. We're mainly struggling with like, who is this for exactly, and how does this help them?
Yep.
Maybe the 2.0. Whoa. How did you know that I was about to click now? Oh, I wonder if they could detect.
It's probably when you moused off the page.
That's it.
Like, no, don't leave.
Next up, Oana from Sunlight. Or Habiter. Habiter. Your online space for doing things together.
What things? Who's doing them?
Try Habiter. Let's try. Let's click. Because like it looks like that's what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
It's an app. Okay. Habiter.
Yeah, there isn't even a description.
Yeah, you're missing you're missing a lot of like key components of an app page. But let's assume that you didn't want us to immediately leave your page.
Okay. Schedule events.
But just a point on like that's what happens when you have a link that looks like is the only thing on your page. People are by default going to press that. They might not even know that there's anything below the fold. So some of the ways that you can counter this is by having a little arrow that's blinking at the bottom that causes people to remember that they can scroll down. Or don't have a link that takes you off the page right at the top.
I like that you have a lot of try Habiter now buttons. It's not clear that it's an app from there, though. Like, it's clear once you see the screenshot.
Or when it throws you into the
yeah, right,
Google
but we
Play
didn't
page,
expect that, versus if it was the default kind of like Google Play.
Also, you've got an iPhone photo here, but you
Right.
link us to the Google Play Store.
Yes.
Hope there's an iOS app available.
And I'm still not sure why I should try Habiter,
Yeah.
like what this is. I'm going to take a guess that it's like you set goals or I don't know what events are. I would expect it to be goals, and then yeah, your other people get messaged about them and keep you accountable. So you invite a friend.
Yeah. Don't give up until the time finishes. A workout. Is this a
Oh,
workout?
so are you set? Is the event a deadline by when you're going to do something?
It's interesting you talk about workouts and learning JavaScript, both in the examples. Those are somewhat different things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily bad, but it's tough for me to know who is supposed to be excited and interested in this.
That text is really hard to read too.
Yeah. Oh, the
Chat
great,
with your
yeah.
Habiter, update on progress, and share the experience. All right, so it's like achieving goals together and keeping each other accountable.
Yeah.
Maybe say something like that up at the top.
Yeah. So again, like kind of to Aaron's point right at the beginning, you didn't say what the things were that we were doing together. Like, help us visualize right at the beginning what this is and who it's for.
I like that you show the screenshots,
Yeah.
but it's still a little unclear like what's happening.
Join the event that sparks your interest. Yeah. I think this part is actually detract. Like, you don't need to have 5 screenshots that they're all here. Like, you could probably like sum this up with 1 or 2.
And I think to Eric's point, if you have users, you can figure out what are people actually using this for today, and then focus in on that as your main use case and try to find other people that do that. Like if it's I want to work out, by end of day today, and I need somebody to hold me accountable, then go find all the people that work out regularly.
Yeah, and if you don't have users yet, like while the site is a great place to start, I would just go directly to your friends. Like, this seems like something that you built yourselves because you wanted to use it. I'm sure that you've got a ton of other friends who are also like learning JavaScript or working out that you could add in before you even need to send kind of random uninitiated people to your website.
Yep.
G-links. Waleed? Oh, quick links. Okay. The professional resume for influencers.
Okay.
That's a solid one-liner.
Yep.
Kind of like a LinkedIn for influencers.
Yeah. The scrolling's happening a little too fast.
Yeah, and I can't control it
Yeah.
myself. I think maybe just static screenshots might help here versus a GIF.
Or show me an example of somebody's like link off to it or something
Right,
like that.
like or open an iframe or
Yep.
something like that I
Yep.
can control.
Credible to brands. Okay. So speaking to influencers.
Well, you're kind of burying something here, which is like brand reviews and metrics. Like, personally, I actually think that these are more exciting than your sentence here. Like, be direct. You've got this kind of screenshot here. I don't know what I'm looking at. Like, is this a part of the page?
Brand collaboration history. So I guess it's people you've worked with before. I don't know what that's a date when you worked with them. Reviews from brands. Okay. Yeah.
I clicked through.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, so one of the ways that you could do this is have this on an auto rotation where you can either click to go directly to the thing or it would auto roll to the next one.
Yeah, and just in general, like people don't click tabs, even when they're super obvious.
Yeah.
I would just consider that like hidden information that people will never see.
Right, like you saw us, we went over it and we did not.
It was like an accident.
Yeah. I was actually like, these two seem more exciting and more interesting than the third one because you know, at the beginning I'm thinking that this is mainly for, like I already got it. It's like influencers who want to find other brands to give them work. This whole thing about the fans seems thrown in. Like I think these first two are more important.
Yeah, and it feels like your Instagram page or whatever else like is the personalized page for your fans, and you don't want to take them to another one.
Okay, try it free. Well, if I'm trying it for free,
why is
there a paid thing here? Is it really easy to make? Like, it seems like one of those things that you'd auto-generate if I added my Instagram and Twitter. Maybe the call to action here is like build your page for free.
Yeah, put in your Instagram
like
handle
link to
something.
Instagram, link to Twitter, and like immediately see your page in 10 seconds.
Yep.
This makes me feel like it's going to be like a while before I actually get to see my custom page.
Yep. Yeah, and maybe everybody can create their own page for free and it lives and they can link people there. And if you want some of the different brand features and stuff like that, you pay for that.
Yeah. This seems a little bit more like a landing page than like the entry point to a site, and I think that's because it is. But as soon as you get one page created using your thing, I would link to it so that people can like immediately see what QuickLinks does.
I mean, you could create them yourself probably for some of the top influencers. And then you could just message them and be like, I just created a page for you.
Oh, that would actually be really cool because you could from their Instagram, seeing if they've had any hashtag ads on their Instagram, you could like build it and say like this influencer worked with this campaign.
Yep.
Yeah, that actually seems pretty cool.
Yep. And then you can even link to them above the fold there, the ones that people would recognize.
Yeah.
And it'll make it seem like you have legit people that are using you, and it's really just you've created profiles for them.
That's a great hack. Tharamarana? Brains, which I think is a play on brains. The Entrepreneur Network.
Zombies will come and
helping you find the best funding opportunities, connect with peers, and learn about the field all in one place. Sign up. There's a lot going on right above the fold. We've got all your icons for how to contact you. We've got Funds Hub, Aims, which I get it now. Aims. Okay, let's keep going down. You got. We are here to create the link between brains, aims, and funds.
Okay. So
too much play on brains.
Yeah, and Just call them like projects. Use the words that your users are used to. Again, this goes back to like the mental models
And you
thing.
do use projects here, right?
Right.
Here, yeah.
So you should just use that everywhere. Otherwise, it just becomes much more complex and confusing for people.
Yeah. So I'm still not completely, I don't really understand exactly what you do.
So I don't know what a funds hub is. I don't know what aims are. You have an entrepreneur network. You help find the best funding opportunities, connect with peers. Like, can you prove that though? Like, that's me, my biggest question is like, are you legit? And based on the design of this site, there's like, you know, lots of colors and fonts and, you know, layout inconsistency and things like that that makes it really confusing and hard to follow, which I think reduces the trust that I have in your product. It makes me not believe that you can actually help me get funded.
Yeah. This is also one of those cases where you're over communicating. There's just too much information here, and since it didn't click for me at the beginning, like the other information is not actually helping reinforce it.
Yeah.
So like one thing to consider might be to like start like not necessarily with a blank slate, but just start with what the most important thing you want to convey is, and make sure that that resonates with someone who's reading it before you move on to share kind of like the other stuff that your project does.
Yeah, and get rid of all the other stuff too, because it becomes noise. There's a paradox of choice when you have too many.
Subscribe, start now.
Yeah, there's like too many options, and it's like scientifically proven that the more options you give people, the longer it takes to make a decision.
Yeah.
So just get rid of everything and just focus on the one thing that you want your users to come and do on the site.
We only have time for a couple more, so let's see if we can pick out, based on the name, what we want to click. Okay, product voice. That sounds like I can understand what that is. And I was right. Let your customers know what's up and get instant feedback.
What does that mean, what's up?
Yeah.
There are in-app widgets, email, hosted pages, social media, and more. Okay, like, what is what's up? Like, let's be more specific than that. Like, what are the things that I can tell my customers about? Is it like I'm letting them know that there's downtime, that there's a new feature that's released?
I think I've got it. So in some web apps, they have a little bar on the top right that has like recently updated or what's new in the app.
Yeah.
I think you help people build that.
Okay, so it's like the Slack thing, like in the app where you can, okay.
So here's a great idea. Why don't you embed your own product on your own site?
Maybe they did? What's the I want more information?
No.
Okay.
But like, it looks really cool. It looks like you've built like a pretty beautiful little interface. Why don't you have that right up here on the right?
Yeah.
Like, and then you could say like, you have an arrow that's like, this is our example of the product on our own site.
Yep.
So I think it's a feed that shows you your changelog. Changelog.
Great, that's an important word to have up top.
Why don't you say that right here? Add a changelog to your site with one click.
Yep.
Now, does it grab your changelog from your Git check-ins, or how do you do that? Learn from your customers. Okay, now we're into a different section of your site.
Yeah, there's like a whole dashboard here, which I did not expect.
Yeah. So actually, personally, I would love a little feature that lets me, like, prompts me to write a nicer changelog. Like Slack, like in their iOS changelog, they actually put effort into writing the copy there. So like, I could totally see there being a product around helping people learn how to write copy for their changelog and then presenting it in a clever, like a nice, beautiful way. Oh, you even got a little bit here on like who made it happen. That's cool.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. Okay, and then do you like the update? Yeah, this is really cool. Just make it easier to show, like, you know, one, let your users know anytime there's a new product update. Two, share, or part of one is like share who on the team worked on the update. And so there's like, you humanize it with the faces. And then like three is like, get feedback on whether your users like the update or not.
One thing you could even do is say like, everyone uses Slack, or most people use Slack, especially your customer base. Like, ask them if they know about the Slack update system. You could say, get the Slack update system on your own site, or something around that.
The feedback thing is really interesting to me, though, because I feel a lot of times like you put out a new update on your product, and then you're like monitoring Twitter feedback or email,
Like how did things get
forums.
worse?
Yeah, like do people like it or not? And there's no way to tell. And this gives like a very
It's like a clear
quick
link.
feedback loop, on like whether it was good or not.
Okay, so I think down here you're getting to the feedback that's coming back from that, but the problem is like we didn't completely, like remember we filled in a lot of the blanks here, and so if you switch to like the second part of what your product does before people have really understood the first part, like I could see getting actually more confused by this.
And is there even a headline for this part too? Like if you scroll up to
No,
okay,
just
learn from. So like that's not clear to me what learn from your customers are. It's like we give you a dashboard with real-time feedback on how they like the changes.
Yes.
And the thing that clicked for me in that top screenshot was actually seeing the different faces.
Yeah, these ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that makes me think like, oh, people can like rate very simply, because even the give feedback, that makes me think of like an open-ended comment form. But it seems like what you're really doing is like thumbs up, thumbs down in the form of faces.
Cool. Well, the other thing that I see here is like it's clear that you've actually built quite a bit of the product, but the page looks like a landing page where you haven't actually built it. So this puts me in this weird conundrum where I don't really want to sign up for like yet another product that's coming out, but at the same time it looks like it's almost done.
Yeah.
So like if it's going to come out in a week, like let people know.
Yeah, and I'm worried you're overbuilding for this because it's not out and you've got like a whole dashboard screenshot and like all these complex features.
Like you could easily have launched this entire product just with this box.
Yep, that should have been V1.
Like even without the updates.
Yep.
So you should launch this. Like you should launch this now and send it to all the startup school companies. Like every single company in startup school that has a SaaS app could definitely use this.
Yep.
So you're in the right spot.
Yep. And then add an About Us page, and I assume you'll have like a download link
like a
and
footer
things like
here.
that. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Good start. Excited. I picked just based on the name of the company. Okay, we'll do one more. Do you want to pick one?
Okay. Rewire, Paper, Flight, or Beep? Which sounds most interesting?
Paper Flight.
Okay, let's check that out. Watch your content come alive. How?
Oh, we got some white on white.
Yeah. Okay, it's the smartest way to share any content anywhere and track results. So that's like way too broad again. What content is most commonly going to be shared?
Wow,
Where
you
is
got
it going
some
to be
big
shared?
names. Siemens, at least Siemens Freshworks.
Yeah, what content are they sharing and where are they sharing it?
Yeah. Like in the enterprise kind of B2B world, you can share case studies of how these companies use your product to do something. The content everything platform means practically nothing to me.
When you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being nothing to no one.
Okay. We're still hunting for what you do.
Break through those cluttered inboxes.
Make sharing a beautiful experience.
Whether you engage via sales emails, social platforms, or running a marketing campaign, make it easy to share an assortment of different content types.
Yeah, we're still not there.
What happens?
Okay, now it looks like an email builder. Know exactly what happens after you hit send. You don't simply track emails, you track attachments too.
Okay. So it
it's an
seems like
email
it's
builder?
a way to send attachments and get analytics on it.
Which makes sense for salespeople that are sharing PDFs or PowerPoints or that kind of thing.
And you want to know if they opened it or something. And I assume that means that you host it somehow so you can track it.
Which explains why you have all these kind of enterprise names. Yeah. I would put that right above the fold. If it's truly what we think it is.
Yeah.
Like track attachment open rates.
Yeah.
And then like close sales faster.
Yep. Yep. Like that's very specific what Eric just said, which is it sounds like it's for salespeople. The value I get is I can see who's actually read my stuff versus like make content come alive. Like I don't know what that means.
Remember the mix panel thing, which was like send better email. They like drilled it into your head of like exactly what they do. And in your case, if your thing is about attachments, it's like send better attachments.
Yep.
Very
attachments you can
very
track.
Tangible. Why do I need to book a demo in order to send better attachments?
It seems like based on your customers, maybe you're just going for more like enterprise.
Yeah.
So it's a high touch kind of thing. And what's the pricing? I'm curious.
Ooh, DocSend alternatives. Right, you're doing a bit of SEO stuff, but
Okay.
that actually is like more effective. That little thing that you're doing specifically for SEO is almost more effective than the entire page. Like,
oh,
now
you're a
I know
DocSend
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe how you're better than DocSend?
What's the pricing? I'm curious.
Yeah, let's see it. 30, 50. No, that's not enough to require a demo.
Yeah.
I don't think that I need a demo in order to like buy a $50 thing.
Yeah, and especially if you're actually going after enterprise customers, like that's almost too low for them to bother to take out their credit card or pay a purchase order or whatever. That's like annoying for somebody.
Yeah.
So you should probably charge more if it's valuable. It's also not going to be worth your time to do demos and a whole sales process and take months probably to close deals.
If you're only
get
doing 50 bucks. Yeah. But cool. Okay, so like, I think we get what it is. It's a DocSend alternative. Explain why it's better and simplify it so that people can immediately understand like, it's relevant to my interests. I close sales over email. I need this.
Yep.
Cool. So, wow, that was 2 hours worth of websites.
Yeah, we got through a lot. That was fun.
Any learnings? I guess we
Yep.
we saw a lot of like opportunities. Like a lot of you who've been working on your one-liner. Like sometimes, as you're sharing your one-liner in the Thursday sessions, you'll get feedback from other founders. Close the loop and actually put that updated one-liner on your website. Like, don't let your website fall out of sync with the advancements that you're doing on just like your normal pitch practice.
My hunch is a lot of people expected to get a lot of like, make this button this color or something like that kind of feedback, but really it's actually the copy that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
If people come to your site and they can't understand what your product does, then nothing else matters. They're never going to be your customer. Same goes for talking to investors, right? And this is why you spend so much time talking about your one-liners. And so the most important things are answer the question, what is this? Literally, what is it? Not your big vision, just like what is it? Who it's for, build trust around that, and then convince people that it'll actually solve their problems and it'll be valuable for them.
And while it's awesome to have someone like Aaron review your site, you don't necessarily need to have that. You could actually start by just asking people who you trust, who you think are smart, to look at your site and ask them to be extremely critical. Like you heard some of the questions that we were asking out loud, like what does this mean? Like who is this for? Ask like if you have the opportunity to share your website with someone who's never seen it before, ask those questions to them. Just say like, who is this site for? Who would get benefit out of this? What is my product? And instead of don't tell them what it is, ask them to try to just get that from the website.
And the other thing that people I think are really hesitant to do for some reason is to actually go and find people that would be your ideal users and go sit next to them and watch them use your product and use your website and see where do they get tripped up. Do they understand it? It's one thing for us to not understand it, but if your users don't understand it, like that's where you're really in trouble because then they're never actually going to go and use your product.
And if you're really stumped and you really can't find anyone to look at your website, there are a couple sites that let random people just like record videos of them browsing, like
usertesting.com I think is a pretty popular one.
Yeah, for like 10 or 20 bucks. And if you really it's like 11 p.m. at night and you just want someone in the world to look at your site, I think you can get pretty quick results with that website.
Yep. Another tool that you might want to try is install Full Story on your site. It lets you replay sessions of users using your product, so you can actually see how people scroll. It's funny, actually, you can kind of track the mouse to see where people's eyes are looking. People tend to do that as they browse around. Yeah. And you can figure out where do people get stuck, what links do they click on, do they make it to the bottom of your page or not, what buttons are they focused on, and it's a great way to learn about.
It's kind of like, remember that site where like it explained part of it on the second segment, but then we had skipped down past it?
Yep.
You could actually learn if people do that by default on your site.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe we were the weirdos, but maybe everybody does it too.
Maybe not. Thanks very much, Aaron.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Really
Thanks for having me.
appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Well, not you, but we'll see everyone from Startup School next week. Thanks.